All right, cool. The Nerve of You podcast, man, coming at you on a lovely Monday evening this time. And and we got the co-host that loves to do the most, man. We got Rose in the building.
Hello.
And we're gonna chop it up, man. I think we got a really good topic. And we don't even know what direction we're gonna take it, man. We're gonna go a lot of different ways on this particular podcast. But what I titled it was, men are only going to get worse if women don't change. And the reason that I titled it that is because, I was reading a post online, and it was basically an article, from a tweet that a woman put out that a woman was asked to walk home from a date because she wouldn't go back to a man's apartment. You see what I'm saying? Now I don't know all the particulars. Thanks for that Cash App, Lewis Connor. I don't really know all the particulars because it didn't say every aspect and detail of the date between the man and the woman. But at the end of the day, this is not the first time that I heard something like that. And I would assume it wouldn't be the last time that a woman is asked to walk home from a date. And I'm like, wow. In a lot of different circles, the relations between men and women are just horrible. Yeah. You know what I mean? A lot of women lash out when they don't get what they want from men. Dudes lash out when they don't get what they want from women. Now, here's my issue, because I want to go big picture. Big picture issue. When I was coming up, not that it was a super long time ago. I'm not going to act like I was born in the 1960s. But when I was coming up, though, that still was some decorum. It still was some etiquette. It still was some respect that us as young men needed to have. We wasn't perfect. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, as young men, we wasn't allowed to say curse words in front of the old woman on the block. When Miss Grace walked down the street, we had to help her with our groceries. And it wasn't like our parents telling us this. It was just already in the environment. If you see Miss Grace walking down the street and she just got back from the store or whatever, you stop what you doing. I don't care whatever it is you're doing. You help Miss Grace with our groceries. You walk her up the steps. If she need anything, you go into the store, you knock on her door. Right. Hey, Miss Grace, hey, I'm going to the corner store. You need some eggs, milk, whatever, Coca-Cola, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't accept her money. Her money was no good to you as a young man. We still had some sort of etiquette. Now, don't get it twisted. When we would go to school and we would get around the little girls in the neighborhood, we would still be young knuckleheads, but it wasn't, I guess, a hatred. I would say, I'm talking about in my circles, in my community. I can't speak for everybody else. You know what I mean? But in my circles, it wasn't a hatred between the men and the women. We had our disagreements. We had the arguments. We had our back and forth. But all in all, I do remember a sense of still community. The young boys, we'd be out there playing football, basketball. The girls would be standing around, laughing, watching us. They be out dancing. Right. You know what I mean? Double dutching, whatever. You know what I mean? When I was, it still was that feeling of like, I still rather be outside. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It didn't turn me as a young man into like a loner type. Like, man, I ain't getting the girl I want, so I'm just gonna take my ball and go home. Like, nah, you stood outside until you find the girl that liked you. Right. And whatever girl that liked you, you know what I mean? You stood strong. You macked on her. You know what I mean? That could have been your little play girlfriend, your little starter girlfriend, or whatever the case. Y'all liked each other. Y'all kissed behind the alley, and y'all kept it moving. But even in my days of existence, I'm watching straight debauchery. Effery, you dig? And it's like, damn, man, you know what I mean? I never pulled my car over and told the girl to get out because she wouldn't put out. Damn. I'm not going to say I never thought about it, but you wouldn't act on these things. You'd be like, man, I done wasted a whole date. I done blew, you know what I mean, $200. I done wasted my whole night when I could have been kicking it with the girl that put out. But you still was a player about it. You know what I mean? Like, you never let the girl see you sweat.
That's true.
Like, we was players, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never let the woman or the young woman see us acting out of character. Now, we would get around our boys and be like, man, just let them have it. F that, da-da-da-da. Right. But then as soon as she called, we get back in the player mode. Hey, what up, shorty?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you. Now I had a fabulous time. Woo. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that barbershop talk is real. So, yeah.
No, as men, when we get around each other, you know, the conversations are a lot different when women walk into the room. But like I say, it just wasn't this mass disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, because we was truly players. You know what I mean? Players trying to be in the game. Like, you know what? When I was coming up, even, you know, we was a little rough in the neighborhood, but we was still smooth with it.
Do you think that you guys you liked the opposite sex? Do you think men of today, they just don't like the opposite sex? There was a level of like, whether they did what you wanted or not.
For the most part, I would say yes, more than I would say no. Look, coming up how I came up, here's the reality. A lot of dudes had problems with their moms. A lot of dudes, you know, didn't know where their father was at. I come from the era of young men waiting by the door for their fathers to show up, and they never came.
Okay.
That's literally my era.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Not to say that they never came, but it was still a lot of disappointments in between the visits in which he came. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's literally my era. And, you know, to the point where once we got about, as younger men, 14, 15, we stopped waiting by that door. We stopped looking out the window. Now we outside.
Okay.
Now we head first in the environment, and whatever rules and protocols and etiquette that's in that particular environment, whether you're from the inner city, the country, suburbs, then once you outside, you have to abide by those rules.
Right. Okay.
So if you was brought up in savagery, that's probably what you were going to, you know, possibly become, a savage. If you was brought up around people with good values, you had a better chance of being successful. If you was brought up in poverty, you probably was hungry a lot of times. You know what I mean? But it's just how it was. So what I'm saying is, we still had, you know, it still was issues around, but at the same time, I don't remember some of these horror stories that was going on. Every now and then you'll hear about things, but it wasn't even a lot of disrespect talking a barbershop. I mean, everybody, you know, the places I was at was players. It was how to uplift women, like how to motivate your girl to drive through a wall for you. Right. I mean, these, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, how to keep a smile on her face so you can get what you want. It was about being a player.
Right.
Not degrading the girl, making her feel like nothing, and then expect to get the world from the girl. I'm like, what part of the game is this?
Where did this entitlement come from? This disrespectful entitlement come from?
Well, I think that, one, social media. I mean, obviously, that's number one. It's always going to be number one. Right. Matter of fact, let me go with it. This is the Nerve You podcast, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. We're coming at you on a lovely, lovely Monday night. All I need y'all to do, man, is hit that like button on your way in, man. Let's try to run these numbers up a little bit. Thanks for the cash apps that came in so far. If you got a question for me and my lovely co-host Rose, either one of us, all you got to do is cash app, and we'll see it. It'll be highlighted, and I promise you we'll get to it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe and go ahead and hit that bell for notifications. But anyway.
Okay, C Boogie Productions.
I mean, I'm a professional, man. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for a while. I'm really a professional. So, but to answer your question, where does a lot of the strife come from? Obviously, social media is not helping because a lot of young women, they showcasing what they have on social media. You know what I mean? Back in the day, you had to kind of use your imagination, or you might catch a girl walking in some, tight jeans or pants so you can see her body. But now, if you get on a woman's Instagram page, you know what I mean? Boom.
Yeah.
You seeing everything, a lot more than you could imagine. So, it's kind of like a lion being in the cage and somebody walking around the cage with a stake. You know what I mean? Like this is how men view women, especially a particular woman that a man would like, his type. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, you start, just watering at the mouth if you're not in control, especially younger men. Now, this particular story off Twitter about the guy making the girl walk home because she wouldn't go back to his apartment. Now, I don't know the ages of the man or the woman. I personally, I don't even want to know the ages. But what I'm saying is, if that particular man is over 30, he's done. Because his mind is not maturing fast enough. He still thinks like a child.
He's a boy. That wasn't a man. That was a boy.
That's not a player move. You dig? That's not the rules that I came up under. I came up under, situations where dudes was really attentive to their women. It was all about the motivation. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, we had savages around, but we wasn't putting those guys out front. The savages came out at night. Late at night. The savages was relegated to, honestly, the girls that was on drugs, the 2-time baby mothers before they were 17, you know what I mean? The girls that need to have bills. Real talk, the savages was relegated to them.
The neighborhood hoes, like the well-known hoes of the neighborhood. Yeah, that's true.
So,
even back then, a lot of men, they would pride themselves on treating women like they were their woman, even if they weren't, if she was around them.
It was just an energy in the air. It didn't feel. Like, push that to the edge of the table.
Okay.
Thank you. It was just like an energy in the air. We all wanted to be cool. You know what I mean? It was just about being cool. Like, when I was coming up, you wanted to have your hair cut. You know what I mean? I got my hair cut every Thursday. You know what I mean? Back when I used to have waves and all that. Every Thursday, you got a haircut. You know what I mean? You got fresh. You try to keep at least a couple dollars in your pocket. And you was just cool. I don't know when the out of controlness really came about. Maybe I was already out the house and just away. Maybe I was overseas. I don't know. But what I see what it turned into now, me personally, I wouldn't be able to, if I was a young man like 21 today, I would probably be by myself because I only roll with players. I didn't roll with dudes that got emotional over women, especially a woman that wasn't his. I didn't roll with dudes that lost their cool every other day. I didn't roll with dudes that let women give them a bad day too often. I rolled with dudes, we was like, look, we all huddle up and we have real conversation. Like, look, man, you know what I mean? Like, you messed up or she messed up. Like, we had real conversations about these things. We'd be like, after that, we in the club tonight. Like, let's say like one of my homies was down. Like, let's say whatever the case happened, his girl getting on his nerves, or she won't pick up the call, whatever. Him and his woman just not on the same page. We would buy bottles and take him out that night. You know what I mean? Like, we'd be like, dog, put your clothes on. Iron your clothes. You know what I'm saying? We coming through the house, we got bottles. I'm going to take you out and show you just a joyous occasion. That's what I came up under.
Right.
Hey, what up, Duality? I didn't come up under, I'm going to get online for 4 hours and spill my hate. It was like, we going to hit the club and hit the dance floor. We danced our pain away. Real talk. Do you know my feet still hurt from times I've been on the dance floor from 11:30 at night to 1 in the morning just dancing.
Oh my
you know
God.
what I mean? We literally danced our pain away back then, man. It wasn't all the effery, man. I'm just keeping it 100. Like, anytime, this is just true to the game. Anytime, in my past as a younger man, Because I went through things with women. I got my, we all get our heart broke and all of that. Been through it plenty of time. And you be like, damn, man, I messed that up. And then especially you find out she with another dude, you really in your feelings. Man, I'll chill for a minute, maybe go work out. By 9:30, I'm putting my clothes on. Like, you really thought I was going to stay in the house? Like, ain't no heartbreak in the world that keep Boogie in the bed. They call me Boogie for a reason. I'm like, dog, I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a good time with the crew. Right. It wasn't even about going out because you might not be ready to talk to no more women or whatever. I get it. Your headspace is different. You know what I mean? You just not balanced emotionally. So you might not even want to talk to no women, but I'm going to go out with my crew.
Yeah.
You did?
And be like, dang, I still got it. Okay.
I mean, yeah. then you might see a little shorty choosing up, and you be like, oh man, that'll really brighten up your whole campaign.
That alone is enough. You don't even got to talk to her or whatever. That alone, that look is enough.
It's gold. You know what I mean? That's platinum right there. So for me, I remember a few times I can go back to like high school or like my younger years, but one time, got a little older, man, we wasn't sweating it, but I will say this, I had camaraderie, with me and my guys when I was coming up. We had a tight circle of dudes. We kept each other accountable, like, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, if one of my dudes messed up, like, let's say, I'm just putting it out there. Let's say one of my homeboys was dealing with a woman and he messed up. Well, we had to hold him accountable. Like, dog, you was wilding, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you was tripping. I would have left you too. Or vice versa. You'd be like, man, I already knew, she wasn't for you, dog. Let's go out and meet some more women. It wasn't about soaking in the madness and developing this hatred within your heart. We didn't let our hearts calcify. We was right back out kicking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, really kicking it. That was my thing. So to see what it turned into now, I say all that to say, to see what it turned into now, it's really a shit show. You know what I mean? To say the least, between a lot of men and women. And it's like, look, everybody want what they want. Deception and manipulation is the name of the game. Don't nobody even want to keep it real with each other, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm looking at big picture. You might be driving on the highway and you see a woman with a flat tire. She out there trying to scramble for help. Well, you think, like, in a civilized society, that should never happen.
Right.
But we at the point where men don't give a damn about women for the most part. You know what I mean? If it's not your family member or something like that,
right?
It's like men don't give a damn about women. You know what I mean? Like, damn, man, we don't even help the woman with the flat tire. And I know it's a dangerous world. It could be a serial killer, but I'm still from the class of, you help the woman with the bags. You know what I mean? You hold the door. Just certain just etiquette, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? I still, it's yes ma'am, no ma'am. You know what I mean? I didn't grow up in this radical new era where there's no respect for nothing. People these days don't even have respect for themselves. So how can we truly expect people to have respect for each other?
And that is going more specifically the women, and that's why these men are running rampant like this. So based on the title, you said men are only going to get worse if women don't change. What needs to change with women?
I was being sarcastic when I put that.
Oh.
That was sarcasm.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it needs to be changes on both sides. But from what I see, women ain't changing. Look, it's a population of dudes online that literally talk like this and follow me. They really want women to go back to like the 1940s. But they don't want to be men of the 1940s.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Right. They want to be modern men and have traditional women.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dog, y'all don't even hear yourselves talking. Y'all don't want to spend no money on women. Y'all don't want to do this. Y'all want to have sex on the first night. Y'all want to, all right, fair enough. But you stuck with what you stuck with at that point. So in order for women to go back to being women in the 1940s, well, the men have to be men of the 1940s because the men set the tone. So for me, it's like, make the best of what you got. You know what I'm saying? Make the best of what you got. You want a modern woman when you want a modern woman. Because a lot of dudes truly feel like this. I'm just going to be 100. They really like, y'all women shouldn't sleep with the rest of these guys, but y'all should sleep with me on the first night. You see what I'm saying? That's really what they want to say, but they can't outright say it. They don't really mean, practice abstinence or whatever, or, save yourself for marriage. No, they mean don't sleep with those guys, but sleep with me.
Yeah.
So it's really a very disingenuous argument anyway that you can't get caught up in. You got to know how to connect the dots on what dudes are saying. Because dudes are, start crying for hours straight on how much these women are hoes, and the very next breath talk about how many women he slept with. I'm like, well, I mean, why you complaining? What's the problem? That's my thing. It's like, what's the problem, dog?
Yeah. They don't have access to the women that they really want. That's the problem. If the women that they really wanted gave them a chance, they wouldn't be crying saying, why women aren't, all these women are hoes. I don't even get it.
I mean, it's just getting to the point where, to me, it's not even talking about the real issues a lot of time between men and women. It's a lot of nitpicking, shaming, making each other feel bad. Like women make the men feel bad, or you ain't building nothing, you broke, da da da. Men, you fat, you sloppy, whatever the case. And it's just like, that is really not helping. It's really creating more of a divide between men and women. It's not helping anybody, no matter what people say. Look, anybody can get online and tell the truth. Like, let's say you drove a Honda Accord, even though you don't. But let's just say that's the case. So you drive a silver Honda Accord. 2010.
Ooh, dang.
2010, right?
we in tune, man.
Oh, my God. Well, you be jacking my little Steve, man.
We in tune like a mug.
You know what I was going to say. So, you drive a 2010 Honda Accord.
Yeah.
It got no fender, the bumper is dented, the windows don't roll down, and the AC don't work, right? And the AC don't work at all, right?
Right.
And you walk by me, and I just tell you, hey, your Honda Accord is trash. The AC don't work, there's no fender, the bumper is dented, and your windows don't roll down. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not revolutionary stuff.
Right.
All you did was point out the damn obvious.
Right.
So meaning, if a woman is overweight, and I bring her on the Never You podcast and say, hey, you overweight, da-da-da-da-da, it's obvious. You don't think she know? She know. Everybody knows. So it's just like, or if a man is broke, he on a bus stop. It's obvious. Like, none of this stuff is revolutionary stuff, so I don't even know why people was even getting caught up in all that stuff. It's like, dog, it's really obvious stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if a woman come on this podcast right now and she ain't got no eyebrows, and I tell her, well, you ain't getting no man because you're a baby mother, you're a single mother. Oh, yeah, plus you missing your eyebrows. Like, does it take a genius to do this?
They're using truth to shame people and to hurt people. They're using it in the wrong way.
Well, it's nothing wrong with truth, but
they're weaponizing it.
Well, yeah,
to hurt their feelings, to humble. Everybody want to humble somebody. Like, why can't we empower people anymore? It's like, dang.
Because that don't get YouTube views. Let's just call it what it is. It don't get views. Like, if I was to see Boogie how I am on a normal day, and I'm like, oh, mirror talk, and I'm all into my spiritual shit, and I just want to spread love and peace. nobody really wouldn't. You know what I mean? I get a couple people that might watch me, but it really wouldn't pop off the screen.
Right.
Opposed to Angry Boogie, when I tell dudes, well, you know, when I catch you, I'm gonna spit in your face.
Well, yeah, that
you know what I mean?
That
so,
is entertaining.
You know what I mean? That's just the reality of it. Nobody truly wants to. You know, we all want to be entertained. A lot of people don't want to hear that part of me where, you know, I got a whole other side to me.
Right.
But it is what it is. But back to what we said about truth. This stuff is it's just obvious stuff. It's stuff that we already know about ourselves. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, you know, if I got a receding hairline, duh. You don't think I knew that? Every time I look in the mirror, that's the first thing I see, or whatever the case is. And it's just like we are weaponizing it against each other because truly we want each other to feel bad. And like a lot of times that starts from within. You know what I mean? A lot of people do got a lot of hatred in their heart.
So do you think people are weaponizing truth to make somebody else feel bad so that they could lower their self-esteem so that they could have their way with the person?
I think that's a part of it for some people. I think some people, well, as far as I can only speak for men. I think for some men, they want to shame women into sleeping with them. You know what I mean? Because sometimes that's the only way some men get attention from women. Because if they was just regular, nice, they wasn't in character, a lot of women would walk right by them. So a lot of dudes like, well, I can't get a woman based on me being seductive. She's not going to really notice me for my looks. I don't have a bunch of money where I can, you know, flash it and she'll be impressed. Maybe I don't drive a vehicle that she'll notice. How can I get her attention? So dudes will start pointing out flaws in women. I mean, it's one of the oldest tricks in the book. Now, that shit don't work on every woman. It's not going to work on the headstrong gully bitch that grew up with a dad in her life. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. A woman that had a dad in her life, she's going to tell you, okay, get out my face or I'll have some dudes up here in 30 minutes to deal with you. Or even like a super duper hood bitch. That ain't gonna happen. Now, a woman with very low self-esteem, that'll kind of get our attention. Or just a girl, like let's say a girl just feeling a little snappy or whatever. She'll go back and forth with you and you can kind of bring her in and smooth it over. You really got to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? To play all these little psychological hacks. But I've seen these things go really bad. I've seen them work. If you're a dude that's a seasoned man, you're a professional, you can wheel a woman in with certain little psychological hacks. Man, I've seen dudes get stomped to the ground. No cap. I'm talking about club life is serious. I've literally seen, club life is gully. I've literally seen dudes get stomped flat into the ground because they brought that shit to the wrong woman. And it's like, dog, what was you thinking about telling the girl, you know, she too dark skinned to wear yellow lipstick? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this shit be getting niggas fucked up. You dig? I done literally seen dudes get pancaked.
What?
Like, seriously, pancaked in the club, man, stomped out because the guy didn't know the girl cousins was over there in the corner.
Wow.
And his boys. You done said something to the wrong damn woman. And now that you got stomped out, now you hate women for life, but it's like, dog, you truly ain't know what you was doing.
And it be the guys that try to talk to a woman, but then if she turn him down, and sometimes it be the woman's fault turning them down very disrespectfully, but if they don't, they just turning them down like, yeah, I'm good, I got a man or whatever, then the man want to, you know, try to play her.
Yo, somebody say don't be a minute stomped out. Real talk, man. I mean, like, I've been in situations in the club where, you know, I had to scrap, but it's not about me tonight. So, you know, some people use the truth to weaponize it to try to sleep with women and get their attention, because you got a lot of that. It's like, well, you was in school before. It's like the little boy that sat behind you in class. He pulled your hair or do something. I mean, you know, that stuff never really stops in life when we want to get a woman's attention.
Yeah.
Now, some dudes get more smooth and suave and debonair, and some dudes, they still prickly. Like, they haven't learned the rules. They haven't learned certain kind of jargon. And then you got some dudes that just want women to have a day of judgment. For whatever reason, they just want women to have this big day of judgment, and they want women to, deal with the consequences of every sin that they have committed throughout the duration of their life. Now, that group of dudes is the more extreme guys. That I tend to keep my distance from those guys because they got a different mission in life. Because everything out their mouth is negative.
Right.
They will never have anything to say positive about a woman. Not even a woman in their family. And I've listened to enough content online to know how it works. Anytime you get dudes online that literally will talk about their own mothers, I don't give a damn how the relationship was between you and your mom. You would get online with some strangers. You don't even know if these avatars are real. You don't even know who's behind these avatars, but you would get in front of some strangers and talk about your own mother. That lets me know where you at psychologically and truly what's in your heart. And once I realized that, I'm like, you know what? All I can do is tell a lot of guys to get therapy,
right,
and things of that nature. But you did bring up a good point. Women
what point?
harshly rejecting men. Not right now. It's just a little smoky in here on my side. The Nerve of You podcast coming at you live on a lovely, lovely Monday night. We got the co-host that love to do the most.
Hello.
We got Rose in the building, y'all. And we kicking it, man. It's your boy C Boogie Productions. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at C Boogie Production. So, you brought up a good point when you said women harshly rejecting men. Now, this is something that a lot of women got to understand, too. I'm just going to be 100.
For real.
Particularly black women. And I say this a lot, but I say it because it's true. When young black girls are coming up, they don't realize how mean they are. It's just a fact. Young black girls are mean as shit. Especially to the boys they don't like. Now, to the boys that they like, it's a different kind of attitude, right? But as far as those harsh rejections, the neck rolling, the trying to make a nigga feel bad and ashamed, and, it's too much.
Right.
Instead of her just saying, no, I'm not interested, whatever, I got a boyfriend, maybe next time, she goes nuclear on certain young men.
I don't think we understand how afraid some guys are of rejection when we do reject them, and we don't empathize with men on that, and we don't truly understand, and I think that's a problem too. When I was growing up in the Bronx, I remember I had a friend. This is when I realized I need to be nice. You know what? So anyway, so when I was growing, I was like 15, and I had a friend, and she told me this story about what happened to her. And this was after this story, I turned down men with a smile. So she said that she was on her phone, and she was walking to the bus stop, and it was like 4 group of guys, and one of them was trying to talk to her, and she was on the phone, and she had an attitude because she thought that he was disrespectful, trying to talk to her while she on the phone. So while she on the phone, this guy comes up to her, and she was like, can't you see I'm on the phone? And he said, and his friends was laughing at him, and that's what made him say no. And he grabbed her phone and walked back to his group of friends, and she was just like stunned, and I guess at that moment, he basically stole her phone.
Basically stole, basically stole her
Yeah,
phone.
I was just and once I heard that story, I was like, wow, that's dangerous.
Well, you got young black girls are mean as hell, but me as a man, I know that for not all, but a lot of young black boys, we didn't do the right thing either. Like growing up, the biggest thing was gangbangs. my era. For real, it was a gangbang era. And I think about it now. It was trash. It was buffoonery. You see what I'm saying? It was horrible. Oh my God, I hate when people call me on my live stream. It was like horrible. But that was one of the things that I guess was cool. It was just in the environment. Like, yeah, man, let's see if she can do this or that. And for a lot of us, man, we took it too far with a lot of young women simply because they liked us. You see what I'm saying? I came up in the gangbang era, and I think about it, as an older man, and I'm like, damn, I can see how a lot of women are scared of men as well, because having a young woman do something simply because she like a young man, and me as a grown man now, I'm like, well, I could have led this girl in the right direction, or I could have led her in the wrong direction based off of her affection for me. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But some women I led in the right direction. Other women I did lead in the wrong direction based on, where I was mentally. And when I think about it, it wasn't, the right thing to do. And, like a lot of that shit, I think back now and I do regret it. You know what I mean? Just period. So,
yeah, and to add on to what you said, I think men understand that it is in a woman's nature to follow them, because they're naturally leaders, and we're naturally natural followers, and to do what they ask us to do. Like that's us saying no to a man that we really hold in high regard is a very hard thing to do as a woman. And to say no based on our morality, it's easier to do that if it's based off of what we believe in, but that's really hard because we naturally want to submit to you. And to abuse that's always in the back of our minds. Like, does he really have our best interests at heart? And a lot of young women, they don't know that.
Well, you got to understand too. Okay, we got to go to social conditioning now. So if I'm coming up in an environment where it's constantly telling me, through the visuals, through the music, through the interactions between everybody, that women ain't shit. I'm just, growing up in the hood, that's just the sentiments, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, we don't even call them women. We call them the B word. We call them hoes. We call them whatever other kind of flagrant term we can think of. If I come up in an environment where we don't value women as a young man, right? Because I know things are taught in the home and all of that, mm-hmm. but a lot of us come from jacked up houses. You know what I'm saying? We never seen good relationships beside our grandparents. A lot of us. So at the end of the day, if I come from that environment, then it's going to be second nature to think that, oh, this young woman is supposed to do everything I tell her to do. She shouldn't have a mind of her own. Whatever I say goes, and when I'm done, I'm gonna throw it back to the streets. A lot of that was the mentality growing up, and a man has to grow out of that on his own. So I would say for a lot of us, we were taught wrong. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We were taught wrong as younger people, young men and young women. You know what I'm saying? A lot of young women wasn't taught to value their womb, period. You know what I'm saying? Because if they did, certain guys, they wouldn't even be in their face. A lot of young women were told to use this as a tool to get what you want, but think about how many women used it wrong, and now they either stuck with babies, STDs, both, whatever, right? And then you got a lot of young men, we weren't taught, how to properly treat a woman. We were taught that, all women ain't shit, even our own mothers. I mean, it's kind of deep, especially in my generation, man. So, it's one of them things I can look back like, wow, I kind of regret a particular mindset that I even had, for real.
And when destruction of the mind starts early, it's very hard to untrain your mind into thinking okay, all that is wrong. Let me erase my life, basically, from this point of the mindset and down. Like that it's, it's sad.
For a lot of people, I mean, you gotta think about it. For a lot of us, we don't change until it's either like a life-altering event, or some people change when they have kids. Like a lot of men change once they have a daughter. You know what I mean? Like you hear it a lot. Now some men don't even change when they have a daughter. They don't even give a damn about their kids.
That's true.
For some dudes, they like, man, I do want a better society for my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I want my daughter to grow up in a safe neighborhood, as she should.
Right.
And I want my son to be able to have a good bride. So, but we look back and we realize the carnage and the devastation that we all caused behind this. Like, damn, maybe I partied a little too much, or maybe I took it just a tad bit too far, and now I got to spend the rest of my days trying to right my wrongs. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't understand why I would write a book like Mirror Talk, or Overcoming Your Fears, or I could have wrote a book about getting pussy or women or this, but I'm like, if y'all knew all the damage I've did in the world, y'all would understand why I try to spend my days trying to balance this stuff out. Like the Quran says, your good deeds shall outweigh your bad deeds when you die. So I'm like, well, I'd rather spend my days trying to get more good deeds than bad deeds, because I done did enough.
You've been in the dark so long, right?
I've been shadowy. I don't want to say darkness. I say it got a little shadowy at times. For real, it got a little shadowy, but I wouldn't say complete darkness. But I get where you're going. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's my thing, man. I'm like, look, I want to keep it real. Man, I know the effects of negative energy. Negative energy kills people because they just sit up in that shit, man. I'm not trying to have nothing. Look, man, I'm trying to have my good deeds outweigh my bad deeds. And when I pass, I just want people at my funeral to say he was a decent man. He was a good dude. All the rest of that stuff. So, but again, we live and we learn. So, let's go ahead and drive the conversation forward a little bit. Look, man, Rose, I'm going to reset the room. Never You podcast coming at you on this lovely Monday night. We got the co-host of Love You the Most, man. We got Rose in the building.
Hello.
Y'all hit that like button for me, y'all. Let's go ahead and run these numbers up on this lovely, lovely Monday. Now, peep gang. All right. Some say I pick on men online. Now I'm gonna walk you down. I did a live stream the other day, and I had a couple dudes, disgruntled dudes. This is the source of this live stream. Disgruntled men that was literally watching my live stream I did from my phone when I was out and about, and they didn't like what I had to say. It was like, "Oh, Boogie, you pandering to women, da 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 da. All you want to do is ridicule men," and I was like, "Wow." I'm just telling the truth about my observations about things as men we could change to make our life a lot more easier. But I find it odd that didn't guys say the same thing about Kevin Samuels when women was complaining? Oh, he only telling the truth.
Yeah, they do.
No, I'm dead serious. Oh, he just telling the truth. So dudes don't want the truth. They just want women to feel it. See, a lot of black men have fed into the hype of this black king bullshit, right? I don't even like when niggas call me king. I mean, I understand the sentiments. I get the lingo, but I don't like it because my ego already too damn big.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, shed some layers off my ego just on a personal level. Yeah. I don't need to walk around and niggas calling me king and king.
They're kings with no kingdom.
Well, some black men got kingdom, some don't. But
broken kingdom.
I see what you're saying. We should be.
If they had kingdoms, they would be married.
But here's what I'm saying. I don't even like all that king shit. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, look, how can I be a king and I'm still scared when the police get behind me? Facts. I'm dead ass serious too. Do you understand? I mean, I'm not like terrified, shaking in my boots, but I'm like any other black man when the police get behind me. I'm like, man, how long y'all gonna drive behind me? I'm slowing down. I'm making sure my lights is on. I got my seatbelt on. how the hell can I truly be a king when I'm scared when the police get behind me? How can I be a king when, I have to go to another man for a job that don't look like me?
Right.
How can I truly be a king when, I just want to be honest, I have to depend on kickbacks, and I have to depend on somebody else giving me an opportunity. So when I reach the point, which is coming soon, when I like that, don't you?
You know I like
it. When I reach the point where I can call myself a king because I reach my goals.
Be a king.
Be a king, Biggie. Be a king. When I reach that point, I'm good. You know what I mean? But until then, don't pump my head up and call me a king when, just for me to get money, I got to fill out a piece of paper and somebody got to pretty much have some charity on me and give me an opportunity. I'm not a king when I can't control my environment. You know what I'm saying? If I was a king, I could snap my fingers, and my neighborhood that I grew up in, the schools would be better. It'll be safe for kids and old people to play,
right,
and walk around. You see what I'm saying? If I was truly a king, it wouldn't be drugs dominating my neighborhood. That's sold by black men, of course. So at the end of the day, how the hell could you call me king in good faith? I'm just being honest. I don't like it, because if I was a king, I'm gonna go back to this. I would not get nervous when the police was behind me. Period. And that go for black cop, white cop, Mexican cop. I don't give a damn.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? Real talk. I don't give a damn. If I was a king, I wouldn't have to watch a black man get his neck stepped on by a cop in the middle of the street while he called for his own mama. I wouldn't have to watch this replay in my mind over and over. Wow. If I was a king, my whole campaign would be different. So until I'm ready to call myself a king, now I keep my mind on kingdom shit.
Yeah.
Now that's a difference. You know what I mean?
You got a king mindset.
I don't want to be a king anyway. Look, man, I come to be a humble servant. Maybe not always humble, but I come to be a servant, man. Real talk. Yeah. A king serves his people, right?
Right. That's why in the movie Gladiator, the dad did not want to give that kingdom to his son that was a hedonist. That was a hedonist. Right. That was self-serving. He gave that honor to the gladiator.
Yeah, I haven't seen a movie in a while, but I know
it was about character. It wasn't about self-serving. And that's what the Bible teaches.
Thanks for the... Oh, now you're a Christian. Thanks.
You know I am.
Thanks for that $5 super chat, PJ. You're a backslider. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Keep up the good work. You guys are taking part of the place where KS left behind. Appreciate that $5 super chat. Yeah, man, we just standing our lane, though.
I'm a knight.
But no, real talk. Like I don't... You got to understand. I've always been a foot soldier. So even when I joined the military, I like being a soldier. Now, when I got a little bit of leadership, I still like being out with my soldiers. I like digging trenches. I like sleeping in the sleeping bags. Oh, I didn't want to be in the corner with all the sergeants. I come to serve. All right, What we got to do? All right, we got to go pick up trash. We got to drive these trucks. We got to go to the range. We got to clean weapons. Hold on. You see what I'm saying? So for me, my mentality was always, whatever job you need me to do, whether I need to be in the command center or I need to dig trenches, I'm the guy to call, period. So that's why I say I'm a humble servant. Everybody got different roles. Now, some guys, they were built for the command center. They went to school for it. They know the lingo. They got the perfect temperament for the command center. And then you got some dudes, you know what? We need to be in the thick of the action. And that's where guys like, that's why I say I don't want to be a king. I'm a servant, man. That's just how I feel. Now, hopefully one day I'll work my way up to the command center where I can sit there with all the top brass and we can discuss strategy. But for right now, you know what? I don't mind digging trenches, man. I don't mind. Because I understand every part of the mission, you need people willing to do their job. if everybody's in the command center, who's going to get out here and kick down the doors?
Right.
Who's going to get out here and do the grunt work? All jobs are important, whether we know it or not.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Just because me and you talking right now, it don't mean the producer not important. It don't mean the light person or the cameraman not important. Shit, if we all work together to make this podcast run smooth as we can get it, right?
Right. You know, everybody want to be MVP, the most valuable player. They try to look down on the other players, and that's what men. A lot of men, they do that to women. They do that to women.
Well, everybody ain't gonna be Michael Jordan. That's why you got one Michael Jordan, you got one LeBron James, etc., and everybody else is role players. Now you could be great and excel at your role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, teamwork make the dream work, baby. That's just what it is. You can excel at your role, but everybody ain't gonna beat Michael Jordan. There's only one. Michael Jordan was good at what he did. It didn't mean he was great at other things in his life. Other things you might excel at. You gotta find your lane. You dig? That's my thing. Every dude not gonna make a woman panties wet off one conversation. Some dudes, it might take you a span of some time where the woman can really get to know you and she can really see what's in your heart. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
That's true.
I mean, I'm just keeping it 100, man. Like every woman not even gonna like you at first. She not even gonna notice you at first. But if you're a real player, you understand how this works. You understand one day the girl might not see you. 3 weeks later, you got your hair cut, you coming in there smelling like that John Paul shit, or you know what I'm saying? That Bond number 9, you know what I mean? You done threw that on your neck and the back of your ears, and you know what I mean? You done wiped off your shoes, and one day you just decided to talk to her, and the conversation was just so phenomenal because you felt good about yourself. Next thing you know, she want to sit with you every day. She want to talk with you. You got something to say. Then over time, she don't even want to go hang out with our girls. She want to hang out with you because you such a real nigga. Next thing you know, you stimulating her mind. She changing. She eating different. She reading different books. You know what I'm saying? She exploring different sides of herself because you just took the time to rap to the girl. Now, the guy that might have got the pussy on the first night, she ain't even think about him. Dog, you know a woman is attached to you when she starts speaking your lingo. When she start asking you for advice, when she start calling you for stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't know what to eat for dinner. Should I do Chinese or should I get sushi?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or when something exciting happens in her life, you're the first person she calls.
Facts.
That's valuable.
But, you know, it's this whack competition between men that, you know, we truly need to stop. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Well, you slept with the girl first. You an alpha male. Like, nah, dog. The alpha male is the guy that she gonna drive the truck through the wall for.
Is it the person who hit it first or the person who hits it the most? What should we be?
You're a woman,
what should men be striving for? I think they should be striving for the second one. Who cares about who hit it first? It's about the person that she's giving it the most. I think that's more valuable to us as women too.
For me, I would say the more unforgettable experience, because you could just be on vacation. Like, let's say, like you went to the Bahamas, and you might just met a woman that night at the casino, and y'all might have had the most pleasurable time and pleasurable sexual experience, and you'd have forgot to get her damn number and everything or whatever. But you know, at the end of the day, she never stopped thinking about, like, dang man, that one guy. You know what I mean? He was a vibe. But to answer your question, probably I would say the guy that hit it the most. The guy, like I say, for me, it's past sex. For me, because sex is sex. I never looked at sex more than what it was for me, because I understand.
Of course, you're a man.
We can compartmentalize things. So sex could just be sex, but for me, I'm looking at everything else around sex. Like, I would take the sex off the table if I had a woman that truly believed in me, that lifted me up when I was having a bad day, that motivated me when I was, might have been in a bad season or two. A woman that just believed in me even when I ain't believe in myself. Or, we all have times where we just ain't feeling ourselves. You know what I mean? For me, I would take that. A woman that's just going to nurture a nigga. A woman that if you just had a bad day or things ain't going your way, she's still going to rub your shoulders and make you feel like a man and shit. Even when you don't feel like it. To me, fuck the sex. I'll take that. Like these niggas, and that's the problem. A lot of these dudes still talking about sex, and I'm like, y'all not getting nurtured properly by women.
Right.
Some guys, because of who they are, women always gonna nurture them, treat them good, because they're good to women. And some guys, they've been put out there to be entertainment for women, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? If that's who you are, but it's still, these guys never seen a different side of a woman where, man, I can say this without a shadow of a doubt. When a woman love a man, that's some powerful shit. Like, I mean, think about this. I think I said this a couple podcasts ago. A woman will become a stepmother a hell of a lot quicker than a man to become a stepdaddy to a man that she loves. A woman will accept a lot of things about a man that she loves quicker than a man will accept things about her. Like, if a woman love a man, honestly, his past really don't matter. This guy could have shot 7 people when he was 21. He could have went to jail for 20 years, get out, and you'd be like, damn, how he get this beautiful woman? Yeah. And he playing this redemption character, but she like, well, that was the old him. Now, or think about the women that bring, and I'm not condoning this, but think about the women that get with guys that got all kind of salacious charges, like, rape or, all kind of child activity or whatever the case. But when a woman truly love a man, she got those love goggles on. I'm not saying it's right. Right. But a woman will overlook all of that shit. Men ain't doing that.
That's true.
A lot of men ain't doing that kind of stuff. So a woman's love is really deep, man. I ain't even capping, dog. Like, when a woman truly gives a fuck about a man, that shit is powerful, man. Because women, a lot of women to go against their own friends for a man. Like I say, I'm not saying any of this is smart. I'm not saying that it's always the best thing to do. It might not even work out in the favor of the woman, but I'm just saying, like, when a woman lock her heart on a man, she locked her heart on the dude, man.
And I like to think of men as gods of the world and women as humans. And when we praise and we believe in a man, that's kind of, we're believing in the man that represents God, the man of God in our minds. So I could see that bond and that love, it is powerful.
Now you Socrates?
No, because look,
what's going on here? I'm lost. Go ahead.
I mean, and then that's why we get married, because when we get married, the man represents God, the woman represents human beings, and when we get married, we're saying, "I will not forsake you," meaning just the same way we won't turn our backs on God, and God will never turn his back on us. That's what we're saying when we're getting married. Mm-hmm. So
ideally,
ideally, if we didn't live in a world of divorce, but that's what we're saying. We're strengthening that bond to say, all of your sins, mostly all of your sins, I'm gonna forgive you. I'm not going to leave you. I won't forsake you. So,
I agree to a certain extent. I mean, when you marry somebody, you marry every part of them.
So I guess a lot of men go haywire when they want a whole bunch of women to submit to them. They want a lot of followers. They want a lot of women to believe in them because they are the gods. So it makes sense.
A lot of niggas bought into that hype. I'm just gonna be honest, and I don't even want to go down that path again. I gotta look at the evidence of a man's life. I think a man that take care of his family, a man that take care of his mom. You know, a man that's there for his community is a god. Niggas that's just getting a bunch of pussy. I mean, that's cool. I'm not against it, but don't. To me, that's just having fun. It's no more than what it is. But how can you say you're a god when you don't even have no control over your own fucking life? You know what I mean? Like I never get the two mixed up. You know what I mean? I never get the two mixed up. Like, all right, you can have all the fun. You know, it's a time and place for fun. But don't walk around like you a king or you a god, and you don't even control nothing in your own damn community.
Right.
So anyway, matter of fact, you don't even control nothing. Period. So, boom. You know, it's all good, man. It's like this, right? It's like this. I don't have all the advice in the world for men, younger men or older men. But what I would say is just honestly, the same thing I've been saying for years. I've been online. A man has to consume himself with himself, meaning you got to control your own situation. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, a man has to control himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be 100. You can't control anything else in the world before you have yourself under control. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes is letting women really just truly get under their skin, and it is causing hatred. Whether it's experiences, whether it's watching too much bad, negative content, whatever the hell the case is, man. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's just you got a revenge bone in your body. It's like, I get it, man, but nobody's going to change because you want them to change. You got to change the way you perceive things. You know what I'm saying? You got to change your outlook on things first. And sometimes you got to look in the mirror talk, go get it off Amazon, see Boogie Productions. You got to look in the mirror too, man. And this is where I take my criticisms, because it's like, dog, the proof should be in the pudding. I mean, if women wanted to treat you like a king, they would treat you like a king. So maybe you gotta tighten up in some areas. It's just that simple, man. I mean, for me, 1 + 1 is 2.
Right.
But that's all it is, man. You know what I mean? Sitting around arguing over, sex and all this shit. It's like, look, at some point you gotta grow up too. You know what I mean? Like, what do you value? You know what I mean? Real talk. I feel like a king when I accomplish things in life. That's what truly gives me my confidence, when I accomplish stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about goals that I have set out in front of me, no matter how long it took me to get there. You know what I mean? I think about the perseverance and the stamina that was needed, and the sacrifice and all this other shit. And I'd be like, damn, man, that's what truly gives me confidence, man. It gives me confidence when I know my family is good and certain shit, I don't get a lot of, extra confidence from sleeping with a bunch of women. I mean, that's nice. It's a good conversation piece. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get a little bit more pep in my step, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm not going to walk into a room and change anything because I slept with 3 women in one weekend. That's crazy.
Right. So you're saying it's more gratifying when you're serving everyone versus serving yourself. That you taking on that responsibility on serving everyone.
I mean, I wouldn't say everyone, but
I'm your community, your family, your community.
Like my circle, everybody not a part of my community. You gotta understand. I don't give a damn what color you is. Everybody don't have the same heart as me. Everybody ain't got the same mind as me. You know what I'm saying? But I do see what you're saying.
So Natasha said, who the hell is this chick? The original use of marriage was a tool used for safety and security, to bring kingdoms together, to forge alliance in war, famine, and foreign threats to power.
Things evolve too.
My name is Rebecca Rose, okay? I don't know who this girl is, but what I said was facts. I was talking about the meaning of marriage.
I mean,
so
marriage is different for everybody. Some people marry for love. Some people marry. Some people literally only marry for security. Like, it's an understanding. It's a transaction. Some people marry just because they simply want children. Some people marry because they couldn't find nobody else. I mean, marriage is different for everybody.
I get it.
And same thing with the girl Natasha. You know what I mean? That people do marry for those reasons too.
I get it. I'm just saying that in the Bible, it's spreading love and understanding, and that's.
I mean, let's just.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
But,
okay. And this is the best time to marry for love. Yeah, I understand. In the past, we married for money and security and all that extra stuff, but they didn't really have a chance to do that. But this is the only time, really, in our lives where we can marry for love, because women can work, men can work. Everybody they could get what they want right now in life. So why are you marrying for other reasons? I mean, and are you going to be fulfilled when you do?
Well,
chances are it's no.
Like, even with that, like, a lot of women that marry for security, you know, even they still getting divorced. So it's like, who really truly has the answer? Nobody has the answer to any of these problems. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of women that have married men with a bag, and they jack that up too, because the woman wasn't growing. She wasn't growing into herself. She couldn't be herself. She couldn't, you know, she was just an accessory. She was the ornament on the Christmas tree to the man. And some women over time, they want to be more of a priority in the marriage, and they do want to be loved. They don't just want to be there for the money over time. So, you know, I get that too, man. I ain't tripping on none of that stuff. My thing is, do what you want. I think you should have everything in place. That way, everybody can be fulfilled. When, especially these days, when you get into a relationship, whoever has to shrink themselves is the person is really gonna start acting out. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always the woman. Sometimes a man can get into a situation with a woman, and he has to shrink who he is. You know what I'm saying? Within his personality and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Two people, if they are aligned in some kind of way, if they're there for genuine reasons, you know, they can exist separately but still come together, and it doesn't step on each other's toes. You know what I mean? They give each other space to operate, you know, within themselves, you know what I mean, just as a person, because we all have an individual relationship with ourselves.
Right.
That has nothing to do with you. Your relationship with yourself and your growth and your evolution, every part of that doesn't have nothing to do with me. It's certain things you're probably never going to tell me. That's between you and God.
Right.
And then vice versa. So, you know what I mean? Can we truly operate separately at times, and can we come together and support each other? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, you
know, some people believe in they believe in leverage, not love. So, I mean, I get it. Well, I get it. That's what they value the most, and they operate, you know, with leverage. That's using what they have to get what they want. But yeah, I get it.
Hey, it is what it is. I think people can do whatever they want to do.
Don't complain.
I only got one request. Stand on it.
Right.
Stand on it. That's it. Whatever you want to do in life, make that decision, but stand on it. Don't start complaining when things don't work out in your favor.
Right.
You know what I mean? My suggestion, you know, be with somebody you can stand, that you can live with. Be with somebody you can grow with. That'd be my suggestion. You know what I mean? That would be my suggestion. Be with somebody that you can grow with, and y'all can give each other space to grow. Y'all not breathing down each other's neck. But y'all can still come together and make things happen. Thanks for that $20 super chat, Sika. Truthie says, sorry I'm late for class. Keep up the good work. No doubt. That's just my thing. You know what I'm saying? You're not always going to marry the richest man or the prettiest girl. You know what I mean? You got to be with somebody you can tolerate. You dig? Like, people, and I say this all the time, it's very hard to get along with somebody every day.
You're right.
That's not especially people that have been living by themselves or being by themselves for so long. You're kind of stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Yo, man, and then to bring somebody into your space or you go to somebody else's space, man, that's some hard shit to do.
That is true.
So what I'm saying is, it's like, yo, man, you know, we act like that's just the easiest thing in the world. Like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna be with this person, be with that person. Like, nah, man, you gotta have a skill set to deal with somebody. You gotta have a really good temperament, man.
Right. Rent gets paid on the first. What happens? You say that a lot. What happens on the rest of the days?
I know, right? You know what I mean? Like, if that's all it is just paying bills, then y'all don't go bowling, y'all don't go shoot pool, y'all don't go to the movies. Y'all don't do nothing. Y'all don't vibe. Y'all don't just drive and talk. Y'all don't sit up and read. I don't know what people do, but at the end of the day, it's like people got to be real with themselves too, man. You know what I mean? You got to be able to get along with somebody every day. You got to be able to get along with somebody with your clothes on. Sex is good, but in a relationship, I mean, shit. Out of 24 hours, how many hours are y'all going to be truly having sex? How many days of the week truly gonna be having? I mean, y'all gotta like each other with your clothes on. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta get along with your clothes on. It has to be a level of respect. You don't have any relationship without respect. So, you know, just the fundamentals, man. It's just the fundamentals. But we're gonna go ahead and start closing this up.
How is the concept of love working for us?
So, here's my thing. You know, I ain't got all the answers, right? I got the answers for me, as far as I'm concerned. I got the answers for men that got an open mind. I don't have the answers for dudes that's itching to be an alpha male and to step on the back of a woman's neck. I'm past that point in my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to mature men that want to accomplish things, that want things with a balanced mind. Like we been there, done that with women. We already represented. Now we on a different kind of vibration. You know what I mean? I have advice for men that like women. Like really, truly, in a lot of dudes' hearts, they truly don't like women. Those kind of guys need therapy. Like they can't come to a C-Boogie or somebody like me and expect to get good advice, because it's deeper than that. That they have to break through those shackles and them spirits, and they gotta really re-engineer their mind and their heart. You know what I mean? To operate amongst people and shit. I ain't got no advice for a lot of dudes like that at this point. I said everything I had to say. It's like, look, you know, find you a woman that you can be yourself around. Find you a woman that's going to accept who you are, but you got to be good to her too. That's not a one-way street. It's not a one-way street, man. If you smile at somebody, typically they smile back, right? If you frown at somebody, they frown back. If you're pleasant to somebody, typically they pleasant back. I'm not saying in all cases, but, you know, it's just a certain decorum you should have. You know what I mean? I'm about dudes that's willing to get into the self-improvement aspect of things. Like, look, you might have to tweak some things here and there, change some things. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? You got to have good bait. Who the hell goes to the fishing hole with no bait? That's crazy. So, you know what I mean? At this point, man, I'm talking to dudes that can have an open mind about life. You know what I mean? They haven't given up on life quite yet. They're willing to explore what life has to offer. And they understand you got to experience life. You know what I'm saying? You can't just talk about life all the time. You got to experience it too. Life has many different colors for everybody, man. And the same energy we put out is the same energy we step right into. You know what I mean? Truth be told, a lot of things ain't changed for me until I got positive. I'm going to close with this. You know what I mean? I used to be a real control freak type dude, man. I've been there, done that, man. A lot of dudes don't even know who I used to be. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes don't really know. I used to be a control freak. I used to have little anger issues or temperamental type of things. And once I got out the military, you know, I took some time, went back to school. And this was probably the best time of my life because I just kicked it, man. I went to school and I just had some fun. I finally You know, no pun. Smelled the roses. You know what I mean? I finally relaxed a little bit, right? And this is when my relationship with women, it was like a 360. I ain't lying. Like, there was so many women coming out the woodworks, and I was like, I look the same. I drive the same car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
who you are as a man changed.
What I was radiating from inside of me changed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't so my masculinity wasn't so prickly to women. I was just inviting because I was chilling. I wasn't even stunting shit. I was just enjoying life, and I was living it on my own terms. I was traveling. My bank account looked good. So when you feel good, you act good. When you act good, people just attracted to you. And I just had really not a lot of worries in the world. And this is when women was literally falling off the roof into my arms like, oh, God. It was like manna from the sky. It just falling. I ain't capping either, man. Like, this is a true story.
Right.
And I realized a lot of this shit was on me. Like, I finally relaxed. And I allowed these women to just be. No judgments. Well, no harsh judgments. You know what I mean? I didn't judge them for their past. I just let them come around and just kick it.
Right.
And we would talk and just enjoy each other. And a lot of women really appreciated that. You know what I mean? It wasn't always pressure for sex. But when I stopped pressuring women for sex, they wanted to have more sex.
Right.
Like, what's going on? And then I realized I had it all wrong. I had it all wrong for years. I'm like, dog, this stuff will come to you. Just kick it. I mean, I think, I had some things working in my favor. I mean, I was working out. You know what I mean? Had my paperwork. I mean, the little insecurities I had filled. You know what I mean? So I did feel good about myself. But other than that, like I say, the biggest thing that changed was inside of me, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I started kicking out top-notch good energy, and it came right back. Like, women want to be around dudes that's fun and full of life, and you ain't always a party pooper and shit.
Also, I did notice that women, we kind of lost hope on the idea of love. Like, I noticed that when I talk about love, a lot of women are like, love? Like, they got a stink face or a stink attitude against it. And I think a lot of it, a lot of their childhood and growing up, and we used to think sex is love, like when we gave it to a man. And I think a lot of times men have abused it, and we had a very negative problem looking at sex and looking at love. And I think us women, we need to look within and try to turn ourselves back into love again, because it's not looking good right now.
A lot of women stop seeing themselves as being lovable.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, and
like,
that's a problem.
You gotta see yourself as lovable. You gotta see yourself in that space. You know what I mean? If you don't see yourself as a romantic guy, you're not gonna be one. If you're not gonna see yourself as a seductive, smooth guy, you ain't gonna be one. First, you gotta see yourself being that. A lot of women, just life just hardened them.
Right. I think we have spent a lot of time begging a man to love us. A lot of times we have to look in the mirror like we made a lot of bad decisions with our bodies, with our minds, and we gotta get it together. Like we really do. So that we can be a better gift to the next man that comes into our lives. So that's something what we got to consider, because a lot of women, they not trying to hear it. They not trying to hear that talk about love at all.
Well, those ain't the women I'm talking to. So, you know what I mean? Me personally, I know when a woman has been hardened by life. You can tell. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I can have a 10-minute conversation with some women and be like, damn, I could be impressed. Like, you really a beautiful spirit. And some women, you like, you're a piece of fucking work, man. You know what I mean? Because you already know they've been hardened by the elements, man. And, it just is what it is. Me personally, those ain't the kind of women I'm talking to right now. Those women, they gonna be better for the rest of their life. They gonna be, online talking about the same shit for the rest of their life, because they don't have it in them no more. They've been sucked dry But whatever. I mean, you gotta get some real therapy, man. Go out, go on a hike or something, man. I don't know what to tell these women, man, but they've been, stuck with kids and all type of shit, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, those ain't even the women I'm talking to. I ain't got no advice for women that been beat down like that. It's like, look, there are some good men out here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you attracted to them or not. I don't give a damn. But, at the end of the day, if you just want to be by yourself, you want to be the old woman that's going to the game room at night, you know what I mean? Playing bingo and fucking pinochle. go right at it. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Cat lady.
Yeah, you want to be one of them kind of women, go ahead. Or if you want to be a woman that has somebody to travel with later on in life, and, you got somebody there for you that to just come and check on you and certain things, then you can have that too, man. The choice is yours. Whatever's inside you, you're going to attract that, man. If you're a dysfunctional person, you're going to attract that, man. That is the truth. You know what I'm saying? We don't like to admit it. If you're a balanced person, you're going to attract a few balanced people, man. If you got some love in your heart, you're going to attract people that's full of love and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying that everything is all about love. There's other things that makes a relationship go. It's like a warehouse. A warehouse has many different stations. Love is just one. Well, I ain't gonna get into all of that, but but you still have security. You have everything that makes a relationship go. You gotta make each other feel secure. You got, build up the trust. You need loyalty. You need dependability. You know what I mean? In the back of a warehouse is so many different things moving. At the end of the day, that's what makes a relationship. It's not one thing. So when people say, "Oh, forget about love," that kind of lets me know who they are.
Right.
Because they relegating the whole relationship to that. And it's like, nah. You know what I mean? A relationship has many different areas to operate. And when you're slipping in one, you know what I'm saying, it can really cause your relationship to go to shit, man. You need forgiveness. You need all type of shit. So we're going to go ahead and shut this down, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Nerve of You podcast, man.
Bye, guys.
Coming at you on a lovely, lovely Monday night, man. Y'all go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for the notifications, man. Getting a lot of new subscribers on this channel, man. And I want to thank y'all for that. We'll be right back tomorrow on a lovely Tuesday night. And we'll have another hot topic for y'all, man. Shout out to the co-host that do the most. Shout out to Rose. Mirror Talk, man, the book. It's on Amazon, man. Go cop that, man, if you just want some motivation in your life.